Spring with Autumn on your Friday. 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 Just had a couple of thoughts because I'm seeing the word city is being thrown around a lot. And, you know, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at what point in history in which people try to repackage things or try to become more creative with, creatively creatively segregate or to me almost kind of put people into a maze. It's really not. The results have much more, the ramifications are much more far reaching than most people realize. On the surface, they talk about convenience and, when you think about cities, I want to say good morning, first of all. Let me not be rude and say once again, good morning again. Hope you guys are doing well out there. But when I think about compact and cities and people being kind of, kind of like caroused into a small area and told, oh, everything's for your benefit. It's all for your convenience. You have to think about the implications or what will that do socially to people? What will it do? It becomes like it kind of cuts off the perspective of people, whether it be education or to me, it just kind of also makes communities, it could potentially make a community more susceptible to tyranny. So I'm going to be talking about, I'd like to approach this 15-minute city concept is what I would like to do. 15-minute cities. I've heard of TRUMP talking about freedom cities. So here again, you've got these well, to me, I'm not even going to say, for somebody to throw the word freedom onto something, like, I'm sorry, I cannot be coerced or part of anything with, that's, co-signed or this is from the person, this is from somebody that, Operation Warp Speed. I mean, this, I can't, I don't know about those cities. These are Trojan horses. It's like social engineering. It's like social engineering. If you put rats, if you run rats into a maze, if you run rats into corners, you don't really have to work that hard when your demics come up, do you? Because you know where they are. They're easier to track. They're easier to, dare I say, this is to me borderline form of, on the way to genocide. Because you'll be able to control like animals. You'll be tagged in a city or a small little area. Yeah, you'll be right there. They can come get you because they know exactly where you are. Has nothing to do with opportunity. It's like, to me, this is the opposite of, it's going to be it's about control. It's going to be about control. It's going to be about social credit. Because, when you think about CV19, that was the hinge. That was the pivot. They gave you the pivot, okay? Your hinge was the CV19. Oh, you got to do the right thing for somebody else and 500 other people. No matter what it's actually, no matter what the unknown implications could mean for you. But just think about it. They've implanted they've implanted a concept already. They've already kind of mined and targeted people mentally with the CV-19. So what else? Where else can they go with it? They're going with 15-minute cities. Oh, because you won't need to travel as much. We'll put your this and this in within 15 minutes, and that's where, whoever said that's the way, the ideal lifestyle. Everybody doesn't want who you're not going to turn all these cities into that. You're not going to. It's just not even conducive unless they're going to squash these cities and come back and rebuild. Is this what they mean? It's the BBB, Build Back Better. They're going to build back, with more control. That's what it sounds like. They're ready to demolish. You're getting ready to be crushed and run into a cage. They're setting you up for the next demic. But for all of these fans, and see, to me, like most people that like to me, the people of New York, they have no problem living stacked up and living there. That's the closest thing to one of the closest cities to you could see in places in China where they're living in these high-rise buildings, all stacked up on top of each other. Um, and somebody is out there telling them, "Oh, this is the way, this is the life. Oh, you got everything within 15 minutes of you." And I, I'm telling you, and who's going to live like that? It's not going to be the elite. It's like I'm telling you, this is a class warfare. This is, you name it, slavery. Slavery. You're all going to be in quarters. This is what they want. When you think about people that, you totally choke off the vessel to people's perspectives, their education. You choke all of that off and tell people you're going to put them in a 15-minute city. That's overpopulating. Can you imagine the kind of things that can brew even in the 20 in this AI society that they're building by packing people in together in something, in a concept of 15 minutes? You will destroy each other in 15 minutes. You probably will. I'm telling you, to me, it just seems like more like some kind of form of genocide, or it's a way to carouse, or it's a roach motel. They're getting ready to pack you in, and then you can't go in. You're not going to be able to just leave where you want to leave. What is that? And of course, the media is CT conspiracy theorists. Oh my God, they're on to us again. They're telling the truth. So, just saying, I'm just thinking, but I want to go into this. I want to go into some of these different perspectives. But I'm just saying, this is social. This is a form of, to me, a form of social engineering, a form of genocide, a form of this is getting you next demic ready, okay? Because they're not going to have to do much. They already convinced most people out of fear. Fear and convenience is the rhetoric. They've already convinced most people out of fear to go CV-19 during CV-19, telling people about what's the right thing and what they deem as the right thing for your life. while they sit on high and live the best and eat all the meat and all the vegetables and have as big a carbon footprint as they want. They're ready to put you in a maze, in a rat maze. They're ready to run you into a 15-minute city. I mean, to me, it's I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I mean, because you're going to be more trackable. They're going to have more accessibility to you, be able to track and trace you. That's what that is. And who knows? They'll probably have an app. They'll probably have an app, and you're going to be controlled. They'll have an app and tell you when you'll be told what to eat. That's a cell. That's a cell block 15. You'll be told what to eat, where to go, when to go. How much bigger of a, and who's going to control all of this? How much more control will you get will you need? How much more will you'll be completely controlled and tracked and traced. So I just want to just ruminate on that a little bit. But I want to talk about it soon. It's possible this weekend. We'll talk about two aspects. Um, you know, you're basically political cannon fodder. So yeah, like just if they're going to engineer and manufacture where you can go, like, okay, so that means you don't have autonomy. You don't have any control. But you'll have people that'll go for it, and you'll have people that will, what is it? What we've talked about this before, participatory obedience. Because you're already eliminating jobs. Okay, you're already eliminating that. So yeah, you're just gonna put it, like I said, I can imagine that they'll have entire apps. They'll have apps. There'll be apps to track and trace people in these cities. 22 Ronan. Good morning. So, yeah, so let me know what you think in the comment section. The concept of a city, is that what it is? Is that what it is? It's more like a cell. A cell that you can a cell that you dwell in. Your resources can be cut off. I'm telling you, you're gonna be tapped and tagged like SeaWorld. They tell you when to go in, tell you when to come out. Otherwise, it's a job killer for sure. Or unless they're creating these, it's like these are homesteads. They're creating these cell-based homesteads, calling it a 15-minute city. But there again, you're going to have some people that are going to be right on board. Oh, because you're going to do the right thing. You're going to be in the social credit score. And so it's going to create a whole nother class. It's going to create another class. Just saying. The tracked, the untracked. The mocked, the unmocked. Ronan 22 Ronan says I've studied advertising techniques. Well, that's exactly, they're trying to, sell it up, you know. And some of these cities are probably already have them. There's a place in Ohio. If we have any Ohioans out there, let us know. But it's all gonna sound really good and sweet and everything at the beginning. It's going to. There you go. He says the GOVT as a poetic order. So yeah, I'm just saying, they want to make it sound, they really romanticize for people that are in la la land that don't really know that are not interested in that don't want to think, that they want to have everybody think for them. And that's the equivalent to being told what to do. If you're being told what to do, then that means you're not thinking about anything. You don't want to think. You would rather have you're conditioned and demoralized and destabilized enough that you would rather let them think for you because they know best, right? In the name of SCIENC, da 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 da. So I tell you this, the language that people are speaking right now, it's a bit much. Let's see. Ronan says in game. There you go, farmed. Mind, mind, mind. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to come and say, like, this is kind of there's some things on my mind. Like when I think about some of this stuff, makes me think about the the aspects of people, being in tight quarters, tight communities like that. They're also using rhetoric of the past. They're trying to use some type of sentimental rhetoric. Oh, that's how your grandparents used to live like that. Oh, isn't that interesting? My grandparents lived like that. I'm telling you, they'll say anything, but they won't. But they're not. That's not going to be their reality. They're going to enjoy things far and wide, deep and vast, while you're choked off and corralled for the next DEMIC. Oh, yeah, you're going to be trackable and traceable. Yeah, you are. And you will have participatory and obedient. How about they call it that? The participatory, the obedient cities. How about they call it that? I think the people in Europe are pushing back against it. Vehicles. You know, which there's a lot of places in which there's places in Europe where people are already using, vastly using public transportation, or they're riding a Vespa in between some of the older cities, or some even in old country in Italy. You've got those traditions, but we don't have, like, in the States, you don't have a lot of places where um the environment or either the culturally, I don't think people would go for it. They have to see that there's a bigger agenda going on here. They have to see that. They have to. So, just saying, just saying. But like I said, you'll have the little clones and the little people, the little minions running right, skipping right along. And like I said, it's going to create it would probably create another class of people. And then what are people going in it? To me, it's going to also, to me, kind of create conflicts like borders. What kind of borders are you going to have between these cities? And what kind of conflict is that going to breed? It's like gangs. You segregate black people, or in the past, you essentially you trap people. You're trap. It's a trap. Especially in poverty. Like, can you imagine an impoverished 15-minute city? What kind of conflict that's going to create? And people become territorial when they don't have money, they're not thriving. They're going to not want certain people in their 15-minute city. If it's an impoverished area, to me, it's an elite concept that you're going to create some kind of world or social social cranny or social cells that people are going to have all these little things in, within a certain radius, and life is going to be, oh, so great. Ronan says that then when there's conflict, they blame you. It's part of the formula. Absolutely. They got they've got these. So what is that going to solve? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, what would inspire, why would they want to carouse people into a radius like that? Because the exchange of, because that's going back. That's not progressive, that's regressive. You won't be, my God, the printing press was revolution, was pretty innovative, right? But if you use technology, if it's going to cause people to revert, whether it's the sharing of ideas, the cultures will be they will city lock or territory. These territories will be locked. The ideas will be locked inside, or conflict will be created because we don't want these people in our 15-minute city. We don't want you here, or you could be subject to, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, it's really, it's a something this is something somebody's writing a real sick script. And it's certainly not liberal. It's not a liberty call. You're not liberating anybody with this idea, this concept. Just think about it. I mean, I watched a documentary several years ago. And I thought it was an interesting perspective. They talked about LA. They talked about blacks in the 50s and 60s, about how they had homes, how they had jobs, how they had great credit. And then it's like one day the jobs dried up, and the people were locked, the land, the jobs dried up, and the kids kind of turned, the kids that had their little kids that they hung out with. The gangs actually started out, they were just kids from the neighborhood, but it turned into something else, in which you couldn't go out of another neighborhood. And then you had cops coming into those neighborhoods, making sure that you didn't come out. It's like it was a Trojan horse even back then. They'd have got cop, like, before you knew it, they created the neighborhoods, the gang neighborhoods. It's like they did, like, with the poverty, with the job loss. It's like they created it. So there became a need to wear what was it, after, which war was it? Or what was it, Vietnam? They're coming back with these colors and these bandanas and things, and these kids, they were eventually it grew into something else. It evolved. And just like these 15-minute cities will evolve, believe me, they're not going to be exempt from any type of culture. You know, it's not going to be that it can't be corrupted. You can corrupt anything. And whether it's with poverty or whether it's with job loss or whether it's with whatever, and you could be locked into an area, like just locked into an area, tracked and traced and locked into an area. Over time, you end up with, poverty breeds other issues. Can you imagine that in a 15-minute city? Okay, it started out all rosy, right? And when these jobs dry up, which exactly is what they're going to do, you're going to be replaced by AI. And then what are you going to do in your 15-minute city? Where will you have the means to to stay in your little bubble, your little echo chamber, your little do the right thing chamber? How long does that last? How long is that going to last before people start tearing each other apart or hacking into each other? How long? I'm just saying that I'm telling you, this social credit score is going to be, it's these, I'm telling you, all these concepts that they have. These are based on the rhetoric is do the right thing, all for the environment, the CC and the carbon footprint, and da 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 da. I'm just saying. And I don't trust anything with the word FREEDOM on it, free dumb on the front of it. A lot of people are free dumb. They're free to be dumb. They are. And they've been dumb. They've been free dumb, dumbed down enough that they'll do anything and they'll participate. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. There's several lines. Of course, I'm going to look into some other things, but that's what's coming. Ronan, what he says, he's in the Philippines. Much, much. Well, let me say this. Now, I have not been to, just FYI, I have not been to the Philippines, but I'm going to tell you, there's certain people, they don't have a whole lot of like the conveniences or whatever we have here. It's like we sacrifice for what we get in the name of in the name of freedom and convenience is the next one. Okay. But I've seen people with a lot less, a lot happier. I have. I've seen that before. They're not living on fumes of symbolism and all these isms and da 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 and da da da, and arrogance, and they're just not. They what they have. Whatever they have is they're happy with that. I'm not saying that they don't have aspirations, that they're not trying to, to be more successful, or that they're less motivated, or they're less ambitious. No, just saying that they don't have the, I think, minus arrogance and some of these other things. So people are they just they're safe. They have a simpler life. They have less, but their happiness is on a higher. Their convenience might be less, but they're definitely happier. Or their resources, or what appears to be a resource, they have a little bit less of that. And, you know, I don't know, just a little bit of a thought, just a little bit of a thought. But I guess it becomes a culturally, we've been groomed to live one way, and culturally they've been either groomed to live another way, or they've accepted, you know, they don't have people constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, but to me, this is a global thing. The WEF is basically is where a lot of this stuff is coming from. Since they pay for school, so that eliminates a lot of problems. Plus, they could leave school in elementary school to have lunch. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, interesting. Very, very much. Well, I'm gonna get off of here, guys, but I'm just thinking, like, I'm just had some thoughts, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. What is this concept? These concepts. Mm, yeah, but like a freedom city. How about just yeah, how's that? Just leave people. Let people leave people alone. We can do that, right? Too. All right, guys. Well, have a great start to your Friday, and like I said, we're gonna run down some lines later. Okay, possibly today. Possibly today. It is a Friday, so have a great start. Bye for now.